hearts, broken starts, everything will fall apart. Let's rewind. Growing up, who were your idols? Seen the news about Guanarajo, scared well-being. Now I'm not believing. Why was I cursed like this? Why is life such a trip? It's all a cloud of mist, depressed and dissed. Don't leave us, you will be missed dearly from all the boys and girls. Everyone in this lonely world, losing time, losing faith, harming self, alarming stealth, treating eyes and bleeding tongues. Revive and start a new device, eating crumbs. Will I be one who shoots up a school? Am I those abandoned kids on the news? What will I do? How will I survive? All I want to do is thrive. Hence, little dots, only death reserved the slot in my near future. Sewing up sutures, nowhere left to go. Crawl to the dark abyss, heartless foe. Maybe one day someone will love me and call me Miss Love. One child, one soul, one mind, born divine. Broken hearts, broken starts, everything will fall apart. Just breaks away, and we're left to stay. Just breaks away, nowhere left to stay. Just breaks away, nowhere left to stay. Just breaks away, nowhere left, nowhere left, nowhere left, nowhere.
Chip 27 Inc. Hey. We gon' get to it, get that coin, no cap, yeah. You should join, make 'em jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level, young boss. We gon' get to it, get that coin, no cap, you should join, make 'em jump, no crisscross, you ain't on my level, young boss. Wake up in China or Dubai. You are not like me. Nice try. I'm a nice guy. Why you wanna chop me up? Pillow talking with them bitches. I'ma call your bluff. Yeah, act tough. Soft as cotton. Yeah, say Batman, but I'm doing all the robbing. Had your bitch slobbing, heart throbbing. She said go deep. I told her no problem. Fetty, get that bag. This no secret. I move different. You can peep it. I live it. 2 fucks, I'ma give it. You wanna floss? I'ma go serious. You gon' get to it. Get that coin. No cap. You should join. Make 'em jump. No crisscross. You ain't on my level. Young boss. We gon' get to it. Get that coin. No cap. You should join. Make 'em jump. No crisscross. You ain't on my level. Young boss.
Don't call me mommy, call me cougar. Cause a Ruger, I'm a shooter. Say my Hooter, say what you like. I keep it tight. I need a coochie man to hit it right. Keep it wet, make me sweat. No disrespect, come correct, ain't on my level. Old boss ain't cross, got the jet, tryna flex. Speaking on the next, niggas on your necks. We playing chess. What you thought? Tryna cross a bow.
Get to it, get that coin. No cap. You should join. Make 'em jump. No crisscross. You ain't on my level. Young boss. We gon' get to it. Get that coin. No cap. You should join. Make 'em jump. No crisscross. You ain't on my level. Young boss.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? This your boy DJ Rowe. This is Anna's Global History Night. Anna, you in the building?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? I am like messing around. I fell asleep.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing
Oh,
wrong.
I know. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
have left you at peace. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. just not like totally not like totally ready, but yeah. I mean, I am, but just this weird moment. Yeah. So what were the events you DJ'd yesterday?
One was Mosswood Ballers that I do every year.
What's that?
It's
Oh, it's
like
like
a bunch of guys that played basketball at Mosswood in
oh,
Oakland for years,
yeah. Yeah.
and so they've been doing it since like the '50s.
Yeah.
So I always DJ that, and then the other one was a graduation.
Oh, that's what it was. I thought so. I was trying to look. Yeah, that was I at first there was a lot of I thought it was a wedding at first, but um that was cool. That was very cute. And wait, I'm sorry, I'm still like wait, I'm still like waking up. When was our last show?
Like what, 2 weeks ago?
Oh, okay.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I talked about the brush clearing project.
Uh huh.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So then the next thing was working on was putting together a kind of convening a summit about the dangers to youth of social media. And it's such a big picture that what I want to do is get a bunch of professionals and leaders together just to share information and come up with some plans. I don't even want to do any open events or presentations or anything about it because it's just too big a picture. And I don't work with parents directly. I'm not like a community leader with families. And so I'm just trying to get the information to the people that are. On last Sunday, I went to a mental health conference in Oakland with Jamila, and she had connected me with a woman that works on online safety for youth. And this lady was a parole officer for 20 years. So she was a good person for me to connect with because that's just a different perspective than, or just a whole different area of knowledge, because that's what there has to be. People coming together that deal with trafficking and with drugs, because social media danger goes through all of those. So I was preparing to speak to NAACP, and I made a video for just a 2-minute video, which I wasn't able to show it there, but I'd shown it to some people had viewed it before. I was just trying to there's so much material. And one of the things I did when I was starting the presentation was that I was using language from the legal field and the legislative field. I was using language and information from the efforts to pass laws and the efforts to build lawsuits, but that's not what I was there to talk about. I knew that that would turn into, that's just a whole different thing. And so I wanted to focus on just the families and just narrow down on the ways that social media is being held accountable as a project, as a product, that the same way we have cars are required to have airbags. I mean, if I drive crazy, that's on me, but the car needs to have an airbag. And if it doesn't, those manufacturers are liable. So it's weird. I mean, because I remember in the I even remember in the early days of the internet, there was talk about how they were going to, well, porn is a great example. I mean, you can't hold Netscape responsible for illegal porn. Be real be real clear. I don't have a problem with porn. I mean, like child or stuff like that. So you can't, it's just saying, I mean, we're not responsible for what takes place on our platform, but they are responsible for how information is delivered. And it's all happening so fast. There was a loss there, and it just all goes step by step, because what's happened in order to build a legal case, it's a long process. You need to find your plaintiffs and interview people, and you need to have evidence and all of that. But then you need to present the evidence before there can even be a decision about whether there's a trial. And that hadn't happened before, with TikTok anyway. So there was a lawsuit against TikTok on behalf of a 10-year-old girl that died attempting the blackout challenge. And remember that there were videos circulating on TikTok showing kids how to hang themselves. And so TikTok all along has been saying, they would say something like, well, it's not our fault that people put this stuff on our program, but their algorithms directly, that a video like that showed up in recommendations for this 10-year-old. So that's what they're being held accountable. I mean, for, and it's fucking brilliant. I'm very proud of my brother. And besides the fact that they all need to be, you're not supposed to be able to have an account when you're 10 years old. Most of them are, it's really easy for kids to set up accounts when they're too young to have them. And like, for example, I'm digging through information, trying to put together information for parents that's like a pamphlet. With stuff like this, you just have to do everything with the approach of, I mean, people are so busy. You need to make things that only have the information that you want, that people need to know, because one of the apps, I think it's Instagram, has something called Family Center, but basically parents can only monitor kids' accounts through the Family Center if kids give permission for it, and they can revoke the permission. So what is the fucking point? Yeah.
I don't know what much any of these internet services can do. I mean, what can TikTok,
That is
Facebook?
a great question.
I mean, I get.
Hold up, because everybody has the same everybody has the same question, so that's one of the ones we were directly addressing. Dating sites have mechanisms to make sure that people are who they say they are. That technology exists, and some of like Snapchat, it requires that you be over 13, but you just check a box. It doesn't ask for any proof. So yes, they can totally do it. They do it for dating sites. And so that, and yeah, you can make there's all sorts of ways to document or to show that people are who they say they are. I mean, how you have to do that, I don't know, I can't remember, you have to do that for others, for other stuff too. So yes, that's the answer to that question.
Yeah, I'd like to see how they're gonna do it.
That's well, okay. The again, I mean, like, there's the dating sites, but also they've devised the technology to locate very specific. They've designed the technology to locate these kids in the first place. Like, one of the things with the like, when girls of a certain age look at models and exercise tips, the algorithm sends them content for eating disorder sites. They've divided, and like, there's one of the things that there's evidence of, like, they target African American kids, and so they can figure that stuff out. But yeah, I mean, they've developed like, people say they feel like TikTok reads their minds. I mean, they have the technology to show people ads or suggestions that are super personalized, that are tailored to them. They can absolutely do age verifications.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that is one of the things that's one of the things that gets asked. I'll show the video. Because it does, yeah, want me to share the screen? I'll show it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Oh, actually, yeah.
They have intentionally designed a product that is addictive. They understand that if children stay online, they make more money. It doesn't matter how harmful the material is.
The fact that these kids ended up seeing the things that they saw that were so disturbing wasn't by accident, it was by design.
Absolutely. This is not a coincidence.
Isn't it the parents' job to monitor this stuff?
Well, of course it is. I'm all for parental responsibility, but these products are explicitly designed to evade parental authority.
Now, what needs?
I knew her password.
And began digging through his daughter's phone for answers. He found an Instagram post sent to England from a friend.
There was a video, and that video was a lady on Instagram pretending to hang herself. And that's ultimately what our child did. because you ask yourself, how did she come up with this idea? And then when I did the research, there it was. She saw it on Instagram. It was on her phone.
If that video wasn't sent to her, because she copied it, she wouldn't have had a way of knowing how to do that certain way of hanging yourself.
Nearly a year and a half after England's death, that hanging video was still circulating on Instagram with at least 1,500 views. Tony Roberts says it was taken down in December 2021. The Roberts are suing Meta, the parent company to Instagram.
If they so-called monitor and do things, how could it stay on that site? Because they're part of their policy states they don't allow for self-harm photos, videos, things of that nature. So who's holding them accountable?
What needs to be done?
Number one is age and identity verification. You know, that technology exists. You know, if people are trying to hook up on Tinder, there's technology to make sure that the people are who they say they are. Number two would be turn off the algorithms. You know, there's no reason why Alexis Spence, who was interested in exercise, should have been directed toward anorexic content. Number three would be warnings. So that parents know what's going on. Let's be realistic. You're never going to have social media platforms be 100% safe. But, you know, these changes would make them safer.
That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wanted to narrow it down as much as possible. Cause yeah, I mean, that is the crux of the issue. There's tons of information, and like another thing they do is suggest opening more accounts, again, to evade parents. Another, like, one of the things that Snapchat does is it shows people, it shows your friends of friends, even if they're minors. So that's how one of the ways that drug dealers can pitch people. And with a lot of the sites, the default is to make them more public. So there's that. And, you know, I mean, look, nobody ever suggests hanging videos to me. I mean, I'd be so, and then like with the other case, you just have to narrow it way down. Like if it was like, if a friend sent England that hang yourself video, that might not, okay, so somebody she knew, that wasn't necessarily the social media company doing it, but it was still on. How come they didn't take it down? I mean, how can you not? They say you can report dangerous content, and so the people objecting to it, fucking ACLU. I don't like organizations that look for problems. And their argument is saying, well, like, okay, obviously it's real hard to impose okay, how are we gonna impose laws like this? So with the Kids Online Social Media Act, it might be controlled by states. So that's some of the discussions. It might be controlled by federally. Is it going to be monitored by the Attorney General of states or of the Supreme Court of states or stuff like that? And you don't figure out all that before there's legislation. And so the legislation has passed the Senate 97-3, and it's in the House. And then suddenly these idiots show up saying, well, and they have kids talking about how they looked for game. They're worried that they wouldn't have been able to find material about being queer if this had been in effect. And there's kids, there's kids that have survived, that have gone public, who have experienced like the stuff we were talking about, one of developing eating disorders. And there's a kid that's speaking out who was stalked, like part of it. I mean, like perpetrators crossed state lines. I mean, they found to get to her. And so I am concerned. You have kids talking about things that have happened to them, and you are bringing up kids talking about what might have happened. And the crux of it is them suggesting the videos. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do for a legal case. And you have to, the lawsuits against you have to really narrow it down. So in like in a different context, I would say, if these kids weren't looking for hanging videos or anorexia videos, and there's a lawsuit against the social media companies for radicalizing boys, young men with white supremacist propaganda. And they'll pick up, the algorithm will pick up certain keywords. And, so far as they're not, one of the things that's so horrifying is we're not even talking about youth. The majority of the cases, there's basically there's a huge number of cases that are for kids that were under age 14, and the ones who did the blackout challenge and other stuff. And not, you have to be more scientific with the numbers. But in my presentations, I say, we are not even talking about youth. We're talking about children. Under age 14 is a child. And I think that, and that's also like, that should have been prevented from being on those sites in the first place because of their age. So there's that. I think it's possible that kids that young are, obviously they're even more susceptible and even less. I think maybe when you're over 14 or 16, you have a little bit, there's still plenty of them that have done it. You understand a little bit more how things can be dangerous. And so that's and so like the cases against Snapchat have to do with kids that purchased drugs over Snapchat, but they're not suing Snapchat for that. The lawsuits against Snapchat are for the disappearing message feature, because that makes it, one of the things that was explained is like when they do it this way, there's so many kids that got poisoned that thought they were buying Ativan or something, or that thought they were buying oxys, but the oxys were cut with fentanyl because fentanyl's so cheap. So drug dealers don't like to kill off their clients, but if you're just identifying people through random people and you've got this whole field on Snapchat to target, they can just keep giving them poison and it's impossible for them to be located. And I mean, if you're whatever, your friendly neighborhood, your friendly community drug dealer, the word is gonna get around if they are selling bad product. But they can be identifying people from miles around or wherever to market to. And so basically it's not so much because I don't it's not like we're saying these drug dealer, you know, I mean drugs, kids and drugs are a separate category. I mean, I get, you know, I mean they're not trying to stop kids or anybody from buying weed from Snapchat dealers. It's the aspect of the messages disappearing. So, so that's an example. So there needs, and the fact that it is addictive. And one of the things that I plan to talk about when we have the summit is we have to try and do it all together. We're all on our phones too much. Many of us are on our phones too much. I mean, I'm constantly trying to deal with that. And kids are even more sensitive to the screens being addictive. And there's some function on TikTok where you get, I don't know, there's some point section which is addictive. And I was talking about it with my friend's son, and he said that he didn't have any, and I said that's good. But kids need to understand for themselves in their own way what's going on. And I've had those conversations with a couple friends' kids, and just I mean, with like right in front of them. I mean, with the, you know, trying to figure out how to have those conversations, but you can't. You think about addiction. You can't get somebody better from an addiction. You can't do it for somebody else. So anyway, that's what I was working on this week. So basically, I've been communicating with Monet, the lady that has the organization, and it's gonna be big. Just trying to get it across, and you know, I connect, and my brother just took a vacation, and I talked to him today because he said it was rejuvenating, and he's got a couple more years to be working on this. Because I mean, he was halfway through his career, even or in representing asbestos victims, and he was looking to teach more and maybe do civil rights law. And now he's in this field, which is new. He's doing something that has not been done before. And their first case was just settled. So he sends me all those messages. So what that means is, well, it can mean different things. In a lot of law cases, you want to settle. That is a big part of what lawyers do. If you're suing someone, a lot of the time, if you are suing, well, that's what happened in this case. When it comes to big companies and lawsuits, a lot of the time they'll just settle them. And that's what you're trying to do a lot of the times. There's a lot of situations where you don't want to go to trial, and it's better for everybody if you can just do a settlement. And there's lots of aspects with it, like, and that can be hard. Like, I mean, there were cases that Michael Jackson wanted to allow to go to trial to clear his name, but his insurance company would insist on just coming up with a settlement with a settlement, because, well, the managers or managers. No, it would be the insurance. They have insurance for stuff like that. And that is, so if you're trying to take down a company, if you're trying to get them to stop what they're doing, you're trying to get to trial. You're trying to get a judgment against them. But when there's thousands of families that are affected, and you just, for the most part, well, in a lot of circumstances, before you can even get a case to trial, there has to be a lot of settlements. That's just how it works. And some of the way some of the legislation works is making it impossible for companies to claim immunity on certain things. I mean, there's just so many ways for companies to do what they want to do. And because you can't just walk in and sue somebody. You need to there's things that you have to be qualified. So this case against Snapchat being settled means that they've gotten a couple steps have already been made toward accountability. That's in order for it to settle. I would think that, and so when that happens, it means that families that particular family isn't going to have any more interviews or anything. It means that they're done with that part of it, basically. And so when you're looking at public, well, that's always one of the issues in in movies about innocent people being tried for stuff they didn't do. A lot of the time they're asked, that's always one of the questions, will you take a settlement where you agree to go to jail for 5 years, or will you continue and possibly go to jail for 20? So that's just how that concept works. So that just happened about 2 weeks ago with Snapchat. And then this week there was the motion to go ahead with the proceedings against TikTok. It is just a really long road, and I'm just trying to do my part of it. Has anybody been listening?
We have Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Scott's been on. Scott, hey.
Yeah. Okay, want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Off of my mind, wasting my time. I'm trying to get you off my mind. I'm trying to get you off my mind. I'm trying to get you off my mind. Instead, I'm just wasting my time. If I try to get you on the line, I know I'll be wasting my time. And I get you up out of my head. I just remember the times. I just be stuck on rewind. No, I'm just wasting my time, yeah. I just be wasting my time. I just be wasting my time, yeah. I just be wasting my time. I just be wasting my time, yeah. Can I get you up out of my head? I just remember the times. I just be stuck on rewind. No, I'm just wasting my time, yeah. Move forward, get out of my past. I was so foolish to think it would last. Stuck on my mind, but you're not coming back. What was I thinking? Didn't know how to act. Running the streets with my dogs in the pack. They mean I runs, I was hitting the snacks. I'm looking crazy, feeling the backlash. Don't know what you got till you lost what you have. All in your social, calling and texting your mobile. Speaking out, trying to be vocal. See, I'm trying to make you my focal. Stuck in reverse, you all on my brain. Replaying us all over again. I just wanna talk, I'm going insane. Wasting my time, still doing the same. Baby, I'm missing your face. I'm missing you more by the day. I know you said I'd be replaced if I kept making the same mistakes. But this time won't be the case. Cause baby, I know I done changed. And it's more.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time.
I'm trying to get you off my mind. Instead, I'm just wasting my time. If I try to get you on the line, I know I'd be wasting my time. Can I get you up out of my head? I just remember the times. I just be stuck on rewind. No, I'm just wasting my time, yeah. I just be wasting my time. I just be wasting my time, yeah. I just be wasting my time. I just be wasting my time, yeah. Can I get you up out of my head? I just remember the times. I just be stuck on rewind. No, I'm just wasting my time, yeah. I just be wasting my time. I just be wasting my time, yeah. I just be wasting my time. I just be wasting my time, yeah. Can I get you up out of my head? I just remember the times. I just be stuck on rewind. No, I'm just wasting my time, yeah.
Woo! Anna, you in the building?
Yes, I am.
We are back, y'all.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's Global History Night.
Yeah, okay, so this is fucking cool. There's one of the people I follow on Twitter is Lyra Montero, and she is working to try and get the University of Pennsylvania to properly relinquish skulls and skeletons of people that were enslaved. And the university has talked about different things. There is an organization of people who are descendants of the people that were enslaved, or believe they were. I follow Lyra Montero, and okay. Anyway, she's looking for help with her project. I'm so fucking excited. Okay, that's yeah, and not everybody gets this, but this is why I'm an archivist. This is why I'm a researcher. You want to try and correct historical wrongs because it matters to people today. It matters, and I don't know what that feels like personally, for that to be important, but it is, and that's so, and it represents respect, and again, restoring justice. If justice matters, it matters all the time. Justice matters. It matters for the past as well. And that turns into arguments about resources and all of that. Lyra Montero is an independent scholar, and that is just another thing I get so fired up about. I think now she is, or something or other happened. I think she was denied tenure or something, or maybe it wasn't even that. Maybe like her contract wasn't renewed. And there's just so much racism and classism in academia and the people making decisions about the repatriation of remains are not the descendants. They're not people that had anything to do with it. So Lyra Montero posted for assistance and you filled out forms. Fortunately, the forms were really brief. And I just wanted to convey that this is, I think it's for a book she's writing. It's just so hard for people to do this, for people that are still trying to pay the bills to do this sort of historical research. So I just tried to convey what I did here. I mean, it would be very cool to me to contribute to a project that is meaningful to communities, that is directly important to people. And yeah, so I just got an email from her to set up a time to talk. So I'm real excited about that. And I also have to, I follow historians on Twitter, but I also have to go back and look back over her, because she's posted about the work she's doing, but I have to go back over and try and get the specifics down. I mean, like there's arguments about that with the Lindbergh baby. Like, how should we, we talked about that case here, that Lindbergh, the aviator, was just this hero, and so there was not the scrutiny of him that there should have been. There were so many things about his son's kidnapping that were suspicious, so many indications that it was not what he said it was. And there was just no information about that for years. And so you have postings about, and the they still won't release. There's still information that won't be released. And I actually think that I would not be in favor of any public money going toward the Lindbergh case. I would be in favor of anything that helps people that are still living have any comfort or sense of closure, because now there's all this DNA stuff. I listened to this podcast called The Vanished, so I've gotten more interested in missing people. And there was a Jane Doe case from the 70s that was just, they featured it on the Vanished podcast, and some of these cases are worked on by retired police officers that are just volunteering to do it. Not every place is as bad as Vallejo, but you're trying to like go out and solve crimes that are happening now. And there's, I don't know what the numbers are, but man, so many people. And it's so horrible that if you even hear about some, it's going to feel like a lot so far as missing people. But there's things like that need more investigation. But I was reading about another case that was, again, solved by volunteers. And I'm actually I get asked about that, like, oh, aren't you interested in genealogy conventions? And I'm like, no, not at all. I'm not interested in it for myself, but something where you could be working to try and help people. Yeah, I would love to do that. They do things like go back generations to find on the DNA match sites to find people to find connections. It's just wild. And I also, then those are some of the ones where I mean, it's so, on one of them, they followed a guy for a day waiting for him to throw out his cigarette butts. That's the sort of thing where you just feel like, fuck, how can they have, I don't know, it's like the social media. How come these fucking suspects, how come these fucking people that you know fucking did it, have so much protection? But anyway, they found that woman, and the one that had been found in Arkansas, in a real rural place. And one of the reasons that it had been difficult to trace her is that she was adopted. And as I believe that adoption is human trafficking. So that is another thing that shows the problem. I mean, somebody's family of, you can't use the, you won't be able to connect this person to their family, or to their family, whomever is looking for them. They were adopted, and there can be people with the biological connections that don't even know about them. So yes, adoption is human trafficking. Okay, so yeah, that is a good reminder. I need to go and look back over Lyra's email and her work and all of that. Like, the United States is just kind of beginning the process of that was happening in Canada, of accounting for the remains of Indigenous children that were in so-called who, I don't know, I guess you could say prison school, I guess you could call them that. Like, they said there was 1,000 in the United States, and I'm like, no fucking way, it's got to be more than that. But I don't know. See, remember that? I'm always like, fuck you, Canada. You always like to act. Canada always tries to act like they're so fucking great. No, you were even worse. You know, you took even more kids than from families than the United States did. So they took so many kids. The Canadian government took so many Indigenous children, they would send them to the United States. I mean, you could just take somebody's kid and basically traffic them to another country. The government's able to do that. And it's, yeah, there, of course, this is a sort of like, what about question that's always going to happen. There's people who should not have their children, but there's people whose children should be removed from them, but they can be in a guardianship, they can be in a circumstance, they can be in a household, they can be raised by parental figures, by caring figures under a guardianship, and not have their identity erased, and be able to make the choice for themselves, whether they want to see their parents when they're older. And when you think about, that's one of the things that the Canadian TV show Little Bird showed so well. It's going to get US release. It was about that. It was about an Indigenous woman that had been taken from her family and raised by a Jewish couple. And I think I cried in each of the episodes, and she goes back to try and find her family, and you realize that she had uncles and aunts and cousins, and you're not just taking some, when you do that, you're removing you're removing dozens of people from a kid's life. You're dozens of people that they could have a relationship with. And even if they don't want a relationship with their parents, they could have aunts and uncles. And the fact that the government is able to, the government should not have the power to separate biology. Actually, that is kind of, the government does not have the right to you're changing somebody's identity. You're saying you aren't who you were. We're going to make you a different person. That's what they're doing. And it's fucking international. And yeah, and it is hugely for profit. So yeah, and then so the family policing system so the people who were the relatives, and in the case of a woman like the Arkansas Jane Doe, she had the family that raised her that didn't know what had happened to her, and she couldn't be traced to them because of the DNA. And then she had family that she'd been taken from that didn't know that never knew where she was. And look what adoption that is what adoption does. And yeah. Did you watch any of the Democratic convention?
I did not get to watch it. I wish I did. I heard it was pretty good. So my friend showed me a clip of it wasn't Democratic convention, but it was a clip of when CNN was talking to what's his name, Trump's running mate. What's his name? JD Vance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
He's really fucking up. Yeah.
Well, no, it was funny because the guy on CNN said something, and then JD Vance was like, I don't know why they have to make fun of Trump and blah blah blah. They were saying all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the dude was like, the guy was like, well, what about when Trump was talking about and he just started spitting these.
Yeah.
And then Vance just paused for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all he could say was, well, it's a joke. It's good to just, when you're debating, to be able to joke. Now all of a sudden it's a joke. It was just funny how it wasn't a joke when he was trying to get on camera, but when they brought up Trump, it was a joke.
Yeah. I mean, Vance is like, he's definitely saying all these dumb things to people. And yeah. And then Kamala picked Tim. She's smart. I mean, she picked a really good person as her running mate. Just this, like, the description of him is like the guy on your neighbor that you'd call to help shovel snow out of your driveway. Just somebody who just this sort of person who gives you such a good guy feeling. And, he was in the National Guard, and he was a teacher and then he was in politics and he has rescue animals and, he's just cool and he's just good. I mean, people trip so much about guns and he's he's a country boy. He hunts. But he was able to and he said something, he said he was a better shot than a lot of the Republicans. But he put in background checks or something in Minnesota after one of the casualties there. So yeah, he just has this total solid. You want somebody solid like that with solid experience. I mean, he served in Congress for a couple terms and then he's governor. So people were coming up with all this stupid shit like, oh, Pete Buttigieg, and people are so short-sighted. Like, okay, he was a mayor of a small town that got on a national stage. No, you need to have, well, I mean, not that people care. I mean, Trump had never won an election before becoming president, and there's certainly, there's plenty of people like that run for office, but I really believe in experience and that you should show that more people should have put their faith in you. And so that's what that means. And I thought he was just doing such a great job as Secretary of Transportation. And well, Pete was great when he spoke at the Democratic convention because like he started off saying, I'm the guy that I never thought I'd say this, but I'm the guy that you see on Fox, that you've seen on Fox News. Because he goes on Fox News and talks to people, and he's like the only fucking Democrat that will do that. And he's just always really chill and really positive, and I love watching clips of Pete in Senate hearings because he always gets the last word. Like he was being accused of taking private jets or something, and he's like, well, I thought that question came up, so I had my staff here's a printout of his plane travel, and it shows that he takes government flights when there's a government function, and otherwise he just all of his flights are economy. So yeah, he's great. You want somebody like that to stay in he needs to go run for governor, basically. But I just think Kamala's been doing well. She just needs to campaign. She just needs to, don't lose. You just need to keep your eye on the prize. I mean, don't get people are acting like it's bad that she doesn't talk to the press. I mean, that she hasn't given an interview. She hasn't given an interview. Well, she's talking to real people. Okay. Like that's more important. I had this conversation with this girl
I think she does real good. I think Kamala does real good. Did you see the when she was at the airport? When they showed when she was at the airport?
I don't know. She's always at the airport. Which one?
Well, she was like at the airport, and there was some lady that it was weird. This lady kept she was trying to get all in her face.
Yeah.
And there was this lady.
Was that while she was?
Just played it cool. She was smooth. It was just.
Oh, yeah, I know the one you mean. That was while she was a senator.
Oh, so that was a long time. Even though that was smooth.
Well,
I was like, she didn't trip. She just kept doing what she was doing. She kept smiling. I like that. I like when people can hold it.
That's the one where she was at the airport and this woman was like trying to get to her and Kamala. Yeah. The woman with her is LaFonza Butler, our current senator. Yeah, that was a while ago. That was was when she was a senator, because nobody could get that close to her now. Nobody could, that's not gonna happen now. But yeah, that's a great clip. Yeah, she was totally keeping her, and it showed the whole thing. Like, look, this this one was super rude. The person with LaFonza Butler, who was not, she must have just been traveling to with Kamala on the trip or something. She wasn't in office at the time, is just saying she's going to ask her a question. She's like, she was taking a selfie with people that wanted a selfie with her. So like, yeah. One of the things about, there was an article in the New York Times about Kamala says she's from Oakland, but she was actually born in Berkeley. Why did she say that? I understand. I understand.
Is she in that bordered area?
Yes, which a lot of
there's a weird thing about
yeah.
Oakland and Berkeley. Like, people who are from North Berkeley sometimes say they're from Oakland.
Yeah.
But that I've been knowing that since I was a kid.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, I mean, if you live
or from the Bay Area, you know.
Yeah, if you're from the Bay Area, you know, and you also, I mean, in a way, to me, if like, yeah, we know and you know, her parents were professors, and like, yes, that is known. She doesn't hide that. It's sort of like, oh my God, there's she can't. There's like this assumption they're making these, like, okay, she talked about when her mother bought their first house when she was 10 years old. Like, and I mean, Kamala's speech was very, very moving. Me and Mario both got a little teary-eyed in it. And yeah, she talked about that, and it's like, okay, so her family, okay, yeah, so her mom was a professor. She was still a single parent, you know, she still did not own a home until she was, you know, like, okay, like, make your own judgments. But yeah, because there's a part there, I don't know, I think there's a part of that area where you can say, I mean, it's not like there's a fence or something. I mean, there's a part where you can say, like, she was bused to school. Is that not Oakland enough for you? But yeah, I mean, it was sort of lighthearted. It was people, because it was interviewing people from Berkeley that were saying like, oh, it's fine. We understand why she doesn't say she's from here. So yeah, it was really good. She talked about that. She talked about how when she was in high school, she found out that the father of a friend of hers was abusing her. And so she had her friend come home and stay with her, basically. And when somebody tells you a story like that, you just know. I mean, you know, I mean, I know they selected, but oh my, that picture of Kamala that they used with the about the busing with her little pigtails like that. I was a really serious little kid too. I think she you know, she just, in some of those pictures, she just looks, some kids are just driven. And pretty much that's partially why, I mean, this is partially why I think Burn Dog is so full of shit, because normal people, it's not normal to decide to run for president when you're retirement age. It's just screwed up. It's not, that's just not how things work. I mean, it's like, again, I mean, you can compare everything. I think everything pretty much can be compared with sports or something. You know, you work towards something, and anybody, almost anybody. I mean, I think George Bush II was probably the chillest. He's probably the chillest president we've ever had. I mean, people that run for president are fucking driven. People that run for president are not, I mean, people like Obama, the Clintons were just really driven people, all of them, from the time they were young. And normal people don't run, normal people don't run for president. I mean, you have to be unusual to run for president. And people that want to do it have always wanted to do. You look at that, and so stuff like bringing your friend home to protect them, and then becoming the person that she was, and prosecuting sex offenses. You can just see that. So, well, I had that criticism, I think I read it. There was somebody here, there was a leader here who I felt was really trying to take someone else's spot. It was a sort of thing, well, it's kind of like, okay, I'll get to it. It's sort of like, yeah, if you have a certain amount of, it's the sort of, like, basically like with Burn Dog, only white men can do something like that. Okay. Only a white man can, like, be, I mean, he can be kind of that hasn't accomplished much, could step in to run for president at retirement age. So that's part of it too. I mean, somebody like somebody like Barack and Kamala, I mean, have been nonstop since they were kids, and so have the Clintons, because they totally have that personality. So yeah, it's only white men that can do that, and that's what's fucked up. Yeah, I don't know if Burn Dog was at the convention. He might have spoke at the convention. I thought too many men spoke at the convention, but I guess they figured that they were. We were because Mario and me were getting real into what Kamala was saying, and then she got to a certain point, and that's where we were like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. That's the call to Karens. The Karen call, that's her going for white women. That there's parts of the speech that you could tell were totally aimed toward women deciding between her and Trump, because women vote, moms, a lot of women vote for safety. Who's going to keep my kids safe? That's kind of the political calculus. So there was something or other she was saying where we were like, oh, I was like, oh, okay, that's why she said it. And then me and my brother were messaging the next day, and I was like saying, well, isn't this, he just wrote that it was just masterful, and that that's the thing, because that's one of the things lawyers have to do. Lawyers, their closing argument is to convince people, and that's what she was doing. This was her chance. I mean, there's there will be the debates, but this was the opportunity to bring her case home. Like, okay, this is my case. Okay, vote. Are you going to vote? You're like, basically the whole world was basically the jury to decide if they were going to vote for president or not. So I thought she did great, and yeah, it was very cool. So yeah, people are really different. And then Yeah, a lot of stuff was changing. Like my brother had planned to go to the convention. He wasn't going to the convention because he thought it would just be too depressing, and then he'd already made other plans by the time Kamala was appointed. But I can't be. I'm like, you can't be too sure, or we're pretty confident about, well, yeah. Yeah, can't let up, you can't take it for granted. You can't take anything for granted, really. So, want to take a break?
Let's do it. And it's Global History Night, y'all.
I was what? Codependent, can't regret it. Where I had depending on it. Coulda came it without craving. Been so anxious, genuine and rewinding the plays. Fingering cassette tape as Bicon lay beats down. Make my frowns foreign currency. Finally exercise demons that didn't occur to me. Becoming free became a courtesy. I do it through music. Black women's liberation, co-counseling. It keeps me fluent to this recreational reckoning. Investigating heck of things, journalistic reflectioning on what gets the best of me or got it. Can't no more because I caught it. Capture all red flags, my sins absolve it. Ain't no more falling victim to old stress, and now I gotta keep abreast of my blessings. Check up on my chest and wait on it. No more holding breath when hiccup, don't wait on it. Cause I got grace now. For what I wasn't proud, my head won't stay down. I love me resiliently and more loud. All I lost to find out gets drowned out and becomes a whisper. Because I got grace now. For what I wasn't proud, my head won't stay down. I love me resiliently and more loud. All I lost to find out gets drowned out and becomes a strong black woman gene. Becoming unfamiliar like stranger things when I'm strengthening my boundaries and creating these beautiful internal harmonies and escaping star role of a runaway of the coldest. Oh no, I'm not a slave. Turn getaway to a getaway. Gotta give when I overtake, take back when I overgive. I don't wanna die, no, I wanna live. I want for you what I cannot give, and no ego prosper. I found out I can't heal you. I can heal me, but enabling might kill you in the long run. Start race with a shotgun, finish line my funeral, obituary. I hope you make it. I can't take you, I can't take it. I take patience like self. Breathe with me. I don't take patience like who need kidney. Nah, I ain't kidding. Need to be with the kid in me. Couldn't even keep the kid in me. No shame and no blame, just claim responsibility. What it mean is great power, like every hour in the effort. Great, come to myself in from a place called self-central, so credential straight. I got grace now. For what I wasn't proud, my head won't stay down. I love me resiliently and more loud. All I lost to find out gets drowned out and becomes a whisper. Because I got grace now. For what I wasn't proud, my head won't stay down. I love me resiliently and more loud. All I lost to find out gets drowned out and becomes a whisper. Because I got grace now. For what I wasn't proud, my head won't stay down. I love me resiliently and more loud. All I lost to find out gets drowned out and becomes a whisper. Because I got grace now. For what I wasn't proud, my head won't stay down. I love me resiliently and more loud. All I lost to find out gets drowned out and becomes a whisper.
Go through the fire first. You have to experience the full fall in order to come around to something like the forgiving of oneself. You skip responsibility when you use a substitute emotion like guilt, which is of no use to anyone. But if you feel the real thing, that is the door. And if you get through that, then you can forgive yourself. It's called grace.
Yeah. What up, everybody? It's your boy DJ Ro, and we are back. Anna, are you in the building?
Yeah.
We are back. Anna's Global History Radio.
Yeah. So I'm working on book promotion. It's pretty fucking cool. You can get your book on Kindle, which I kind of have to do. You can download something because the book manuscript is in PDF, and there's just an app. You can download an app or a program that you put it through, and it goes in Kindle format, and it's on Kindle. So it'll be on Kindle soon. And then I'm trying to figure out how to sell the book. I need to put the book for sale on Amazon, but they have all this, like, they have the thing where you can, you can let them have your book. I think Age did something like this, and it's like print on demand. Like you can't, so you don't even need to print copies. But I have a bunch of printed copies, and when you do that, they format it too. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do that. And it's been a little bit more complicated than I thought, but I mean, relatively, it would be easier to just let them format the book, but I'm not going to do that because I have formatted, because I mean, I wouldn't do that to Alan because I don't want to do it because I have a bunch of copies, and I don't want to do that for the artist because he already worked with the printer to figure out how to do it. I went out to a gallery yesterday that I've been to see if they'd carry the book, and I had a couple copies, and it's a pretty big gallery. They have little sections, and they have a little gift shop. There's books there because I was going because of that bookshop. If it was just a random gallery, I wouldn't have thought of it. But there's books there. So I thought that the person who's there all the time, I shouldn't have made that mistake. Who's there all the time that makes those decisions, but she actually doesn't. She went to get this other lady, and she didn't even look at the book. She went over to there's this really nice they have really nice stuff there, but and there's several books, and the books are priced at $20, and so is mine. So it's perfect. But without even looking at the book, she went over to the side of it, on the other side of the door, because it's at the entrance, and said, oh, well, it can go here, where there's a pile of pamphlets, basically. And I said no. And I think that there's people, and she was like, well, I didn't mean to insult you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying, that's not going to work. It's a book. It belongs with books. And she said, well, my father wrote a book, and that's where we had it. And I'm thinking, I don't give a fuck about your father. And I said, it's not just me. It's the artist too. It's not, this book isn't just me. It's another person. I'm not going to just, and usually when you just say, oh, you know how artists are, it'll shut people up. So I thought I had said she wouldn't. I don't understand why when there's people that get upset when you say no to them. And I wasn't upset. She said it would go. I was just ready to leave. I mean, I said, no, that won't work. And I was just trying to leave, and she wouldn't shut up about how we're going on and on. And I said, I said, well, the artist wouldn't like it. You know how artists are. And she still wouldn't shut up. And I'm like, God damn it. Usually if you say, oh, it's the artist, people will just accept anything. But then I got annoyed because she started making suggestions. She was saying, well, why don't you take it to Java? She was saying, well, why don't you take it to Java Jacks? My father's book was there. And I'm, why don't you shut up about your father? Like, I decided that what I'm going to do now is, I I hate people making suggestions. I really hate it. And I used to think that if I became less insecure about that, it wouldn't bother me as much. But I did become less insecure, and it still bothers me. And the person that clinched it for me is an author named Nnedi Okorafor. She's a Nigerian American author. She's fucking brilliant. She's written a ton of books that have been turned into screenplays. She's won a bunch of awards. Just people make suggestions to her about she can just be on her Facebook comments, and she gets pissed, and she shuts them down. So that just clinched it to me. I'm like, okay, fine. Here's somebody who is incredibly accomplished, and it bugs her too. So I can say what I want. And then again, for those people, it's not that I like, it's just an objective fact. It's not that I feel bad about, it's not that I'm comparing myself to her personally. It's just like, okay, why are you making suggestions about this to somebody that has multiple books and awards? So I decided that happened to me. And so anyway, that's when, unfortunately, I was getting irritated because I did not want her suggestions for where to have my book. And I had said that it's at a gallery. It's going to be at the library. This is so exciting. I had met somebody at a potluck who works at the library, who found out I was writing a historical graphic novel. And he said, oh, I want that for my literacy program. And graphic novels are for all ages, because I thought that he showed me where the book is going to be, and it's over someplace. And it's a play, because like with adults there's lots of adults that are trying to improve their reading skills. And if they get a graphic novel like that, they're not going to feel like they're getting some little baby book, phonics or something. So, and it'll keep them. So I'm really excited about that. And so, no, my book is not going to go in no fucking coffee shop. It's at, they put it out at a bookstore in San Francisco. See, this was cool. I just sent them the book, and they said, because I know the person that runs the store, and he said, we'll put it out and see what happens. That's cool. And then I had called the comic shop in Benicia had asked me, I called them, and they asked me to drop a book off for them. And part of me is like, I want to go get my book back. They should have paid for it. Because if they're not going to have it, if they don't want to have it, then they're not gonna, then they should pay for it. But I was posting, I mean, I actually got a fair amount done on, I did some work on on my website, but I asked Alan, the artist, to finish it for me. I've been able to, I mean, the website is okay. It could be a lot better. Like, basically, a friend of mine that's pretty comfortable on the web was able to purchase a book through it, and another friend was having a hard time with it, and so Alan is supposed to finish it. Hello, Alan. Because I hate asking people for stuff. I fucking hate asking people for stuff. And I was reminding myself with the website, I was like, come on. It's like, it is good for Alan for the website to be better as well. It is his book as well. And I've done some nice things he's a friend. I was like, I've done some favors for him. And so I had called him, I got this message. It's funny now because when you get this, I called him and I got a text message back saying he was busy. Is everything okay? Because that's kind of what happens if you call. And so what I was trying to get myself to do was thinking like, okay, how about you ask him as a friend to do the website? So I said, I just wanted you to know that I would really like you to do the website because it's to finish up the website because it's stressing me out. And he said, he was like, well, can I reformat it? And I was like, sure. You're the fucking artist. So yeah. So we're still he sold about 20 pieces of art. I showed the pictures of his art on the show last time, right? Of it all framed and stuff, the pictures from the show.
Yeah. Yep.
So fucking cool. So I think it did pretty well. I have to get the figures again, but I mean, with those numbers, it looks like he sold most of them or almost all of them, which is fucking cool. So what would be, I don't know what happens next. I don't know what happens with the art that didn't get sold. Because what I would really like to do is have an art show for Civil here with the art that didn't get sold there. That would be really fucking awesome. So hopefully we'll get to do that because, this is Byron Reston's town and this is my town. People know us. Okay, so I made a fake Twitter account. Here's something that, I made a fake Twitter account to promote upholding Title IX, the whole issue of because I don't want dudes playing women's sports. And this issue, like with the Olympics, did you see you saw the boxing?
Yeah, I saw a few matches. You talking about the one where the girl
Yeah.
just kind of quit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she said she'd never been punched that hard in her life. And so it's so wild to me that there's people all over the world are denying, are saying that person is a woman, whereas the person they punched in the face, who is a boxer, said that it was a man. Here's somebody that's taken a lot of punches and she said that was a man. And fucking listen to her. There's a there's a team. It's just, you see it so many places. There's another fucking team of there's track teams that dudes are running in, and they're just fucking taking over. And it's only so I will only post a little bit publicly. Like I posted some things to real limited friends. I posted because I'm not going to face being ostracized. Basically, I'm not going to. I'm not going to face I'm not going to face being threatened and bashed. And I'm not a public figure. It's probably. It probably wouldn't. It wouldn't happen to me most likely, like it has some other people, but it absolutely could. All it fucking takes is because there's people that know me. There's people that don't like me, and there's people that could see something I said publicly and be like, okay, let's fucking get her. And I'd have to shut down all my accounts. I'd have to go under. And they're so fucking vicious, and dangerous. And, so I posted something and took it down. There's 4 girls that I think played volleyball or track that are suing the Supreme Court, they were all champion athletes going for scholarships and had their spots taken by biological males. And so I posted it. See, I posted it briefly to a limited number of people on Facebook, and because people are so fucking stupid about Fox News, because I knew that there were people that were going to be like, oh, it's Fox News. And I put down, if I were a teenage girl that was an athlete and had my future stolen from me, I'd vote Republican too. You know, what the fuck? Of course I mean, you know, there's a bunch of them that are, you know, saying they're voting for Trump because he said he's going to keep men out of women's locker rooms. And if you're I was watching another testimony in front of the Georgia Secretary of State, and they have to change with men in their locker room, basically. And what they do is, what a lot of places have done is, there's still a men's room, and then they'll say that the other one is unisex. Basically, there's places like, I've seen signs where they do it that way. Basically, it's like, okay, there's a place for men and then there's a place for everyone else. Because then if they do that, then they can claim that well, it's unisex, so anybody can go in there. And I am so fucking pissed, and just I mean, I asked somebody here about it, because I told some people here, like, okay, I was thinking about what to do, because I can't, and I was thinking about going to school board meetings to bring it up, and I was like, okay, well, I am not going to go fucking, because it's something that a lot of people don't speak up about it. There's a lot of, it's not just champions, it's everywhere. There's a lot of girls that are feeling uncomfortable, and, you know, it will start to get more prominence at some point. I mean, when it hits here, or when I'm gonna point out videos of a group of girls in Los Angeles that spoke at a school board meeting saying they don't want boys in their bathroom, or, you know, like, fucking listen to them. Okay. Like, how did we completely throw out how girls feel about things? And the women that objected to having a biological male on their team were told they had to go to, like, queer, they had to, like, go to diversity, or like queer whatever stuff. And I'm like, fuck that, I'm queer and I'm not going to go to that shit. The other thing I'm doing is, I am fucking done. I was talking about this before. They can go to hell with their fucking alphabet. I'm saying queer, because I was at a potluck where, I wasn't about to get into it there, but people were talking about inclusion. How do we make people feel included? I'm like, they are only doing it. I don't want everybody to be included. Like, that's not on me. That's not my fucking problem. It's not my fucking problem if people, you know, there's like 10 fucking lists. Demi said, I mean, and the guy that was, and so anyway, I've been posting on Twitter, and so I'm getting sort of that, I get the hang of it when I see, you know, you'll have certain hashtags that you want to get trending, and yeah, I mean, I would hate to, like, I swear, there's people that would fucking like try and shut down my book if they found out some of the stuff I said. And it's all, and I mean, I was on that podcast I was on, it still hasn't been released. I can see the person, this guy has a lot of people on. It looks like I mean, he's releasing new episodes constantly. So, I think it might take a while for mine to get released. It's just this, it's fucking men are socialized to believe that they make the rules, and so they think that they can say who a woman is, and there are not any black, there's none of them are black, none of them. Because I posted this under my handle, like, okay, none of these trans women going public are black, because they're not gonna try and pull any bullshit with going into the woman's locker room and saying they're a woman. It is just pure, it's fucking white men saying they can go where they want, and that they're a woman. They really do. There's like some sign at fucking Berkeley saying if somebody makes you uncomfortable in the bathroom, it's your problem. And people have a right to be wherever they're comfortable. Well, no, they don't. As a matter of fact, you don't have a right to be wherever you want to be. And yeah, you don't. And why do you fucking want to? I don't want to be someplace where no one wants me. Okay. The only reason that so the people that fucking do I just be like, that fucking asshole. I mean, those people in the locker room should be prosecuted, So, yeah, so I have a little, so that's my little down low on Twitter, and like, yeah. Okay, so YouTube listeners, about this, because and I like my fake Twitter has posted, like, I mean, there isn't anything else in my life pretty much where I have the experience of feeling that I need to be anonymous. Really. I mean, my whole thing is that I speak up because I can, because I'm in a safe, protected area of society, and people like me should speak up. But I'm not going to tangle with the fucking trans mafia unless I have to. And but yeah, if it hits my community, I fucking will. And yeah. And somebody that goes after somebody that goes after me, they have no idea, I'm like, I just get my brother to slap him with an order to stay 2 miles away from me. But you actually, okay, here's one of the things that's so fucked up to me is paparazzi, or you look at people, the stars and celebrities that are just followed constantly. But people are allowed to do that, you're just allowed to, it's just so fucked up. Shouldn't be allowed. I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to do that to kids. And, but yeah, so I don't know, you are allowed. There's like, okay, no, you shouldn't be, no, you're not allowed to do whatever. Nobody should be allowed to do whatever they want. basically. Like, no, you don't get to go someplace just because you want to be someplace. So yeah. Okay, so rest in peace to Fat Man Scoop.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah. I didn't know who he was. Was he pretty well known?
He was like a known VJ.
Yeah.
And he done made a couple of songs with people and stuff. He was He
Yeah.
was known.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was seeing like some of the videos that he did with Missy Elliott, but then like when he was on the show, there was a bunch of other guys on stage with him. So it didn't seem so much like a concert, I guess, or what. But that was fucking, I guess I watched the video because what was so powerful was when the entire crowd prayed for him. I mean, it was very, I don't know. I mean, it had just been, of course, it's like the show. It was just this, I mean, it was a huge crowd, and it was, from what I could see, I mean, it seemed like it wasn't like a big city. It almost seemed like it could have been like the thing in Vallejo. I mean, it seemed like just a community event, not like stadium tour or something. And it wasn't a very big stage. I think I guess that was what made it so affecting, because it felt like people really were up close to him. It felt very personal. So yes, rest in peace. If it's your time to go, that is the best way to go, without a doubt. There was but it's pretty young. So any rap beefs or anything going on, or are things pretty quiet?
Not that I know. I think everything's pretty quiet.
It has been. Yeah. Well, it kind of has been here too. I have a feeling, let me see what fucking, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Vallejo has elections going on, and that was kind of fun. One of the candidates was people do not fucking campaign. I mean, one of the candidates who I'm not too wild about. Oh, did I mention it? Okay, no, because we haven't done a show in a while. I mean, she did something. I said something and made a comment about something that had happened, and she said, well, no, that's like I made a comment about the meeting I was going to being canceled, and she's like, well, but she said, no, that's not what happened. What happened is this and this. And I'm looking at her saying, I'm just looking and thinking like, okay, I just told you something that happened to me, and you're telling me that's not what happened. And I said, well, I got an email saying this exact thing. And she's like, no, that's not it. It's this. And I'm thinking like, okay, you're really sounding like a conspiracy theorist. Like basically it was a pretty innocuous issue, and she was interpreting it in a way, her interpretation would have meant that several people were blatantly lying in writing. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And so I texted a friend of mine later saying, who's close to her, saying, hey, she really needs some campaign lessons or something. And I was like, if I get a chance, I'd already said to somebody that else who's people have no idea that I don't support this bitch's campaign whatsoever. My landlady runs her campaign, so so I had said to somebody like, her problem is she thinks being right matters, because that's the thing with in politics. See, Kamala knows this, like with some of the things, do you want to be Right. So what I would say is just people don't want to listen. Voters don't want to listen to you. They want you to listen to them. And it's just this, I'm thinking, and again, I mean, I'll have a blast explaining to her at some point if it's at the right time, just being like, look, imagine if I'm a voter and I'm talking to you and you just told me that I don't know what I'm talking about. And why should I vote? And that you're much smarter than me. So, if I just pretend I'm a regular person that you've never met before. And like, you really gonna treat people that way? Yeah. Yeah. But okay, and at the end of September, I'll have a reading at Integrity no, we went through that. I have an event at Ethnic Notions. Yeah, and then another one in October.
When is the event at Ethnic Notions?
That's the 28th. Yes. And then I'm gonna screen a film at the
What time on the 28th? Sorry about that.
2. It's a Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
Little shows and all that before then. And then the next event isn't till November, but I'll try and, but I always sell them at farmers at Art Walk. I'll be down at this coming Art Walk. See, I realized I was doing some pamphleting with somebody at an event last week and all he had was like a standing desk. And I realized that, so just what I'm going to do is bring this podium thing and just sit the books on that. I don't even need a table. I can just have the tripod. So I think I'm ready to wrap up. You got anything to announce?
Nothing really.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for listening.
All right. Thank you guys for watching Anna's Historical Radio.
That's right. We'll be back next week.
Get it out. Not yet. Hold on. Let's see if I did this right.